So we are starting with Python dictionary. Okay, so as part of Python dictionary, let me draw a mind map of what topics we are going to cover in Python dictionary. First is about Python dictionary. So definition or what exactly the Python dictionary is. Then again, what we are doing in every data structure, CRUD operation, right? So creating a dictionary, in how many ways we can create a dictionary. Then updating the dictionary value, and okay, before that we have R also, right? So retrieving the values in dictionary, and then last is deleting dictionary items or altogether the complete dictionary. So deleting dict items, and once we are done with the CRUD operation, we will be discussing on how to copy a dictionary, and then the membership operators on dictionary, how do we apply the membership operator, and yeah, so this is pretty much everything about dictionary. So let's start with the definition first. So what is dictionary? So dictionary is a data structure where you basically represent the elements with key value pair, right? Now, what is the basic usage of dictionary? So before I start dictionary, let me just open a sample. What do you say? A sample Excel sheet where I'm giving some column name, age, and let's say salary, something like this. And here I'm giving the value, let's say John and Utkarsh, Rahil, something like this. And then age I'm also giving 23, 32, and salary some just a random number. Okay. Now, if you look closely, this particular table, so if you are, let me just format it so that it will look a little bit better. Cool. And these are the column names, right? So if I will just map the row value first, I mean the row second value, so it will be name equal to John and age equal to 23 and salary equal to 6K for row number 2. Similarly, for row number 3, name will be Utkarsh, age will be 32, and salary will be 8K, something like this, right? So here, if you look closely, these are name value pairs only, right? So whenever you want to use dictionary, think it as something where you can correlate the storage of data like you do in Excel file, right? So every data is basically stored in the form of key value pairs. So this is the best correlation that you can do within your mental whenever you are thinking about a dictionary. So this is the correlation that you can think mentally just to simplify the things when you are working and playing around with the dictionary. Cool. So this is the basic definition of dictionary. What is dictionary? So it is basically a key value pair. And what are the other attributes? So dictionary is unordered. Unordered means the key value that you will add. So keys will not be stored in the order in which you will add. So let's say you are adding key 1, key 2, key 3, one after another, right? But when you will be accessing the dictionary, so it's not mandatory that key first will be accessed first, or retrieve first, then key 2, and then key 3. So it can be of any order. So the main thing which distinguishes dictionary is the unique key value pair. I mean, the keys are unique, values can be duplicate, but yeah, so the real distinction basically comes from the unique key. So it is unordered. Key can be retrieved in any order, and it's changeable. Changeable means you can change the value within the key, so you can say that it's changeable. It is also indexed. How it is indexed? So you cannot use the numerical index, so it is indexed using the keys. So every value can be accessed using key, so hence we can call this as an indexed data structure. And key can be of any immutable data type, and value can be of any data type. And dictionary variables are reference variables. So any variable in Python is a reference variable, right, pointing to some object of that particular data type. So these are few of the things. Now let's see how do we basically create dictionary. So if I'll go back to uh, PyCharm, let me open one module. Okay. So if I'll create one dictionary, dict equal to, and then we'll be using curly braces. Okay, before that, let me increase the font size. Okay, so in the curly braces, you will give the key. So key, let's say I'm giving name and value John, right? That we have seen just few minutes back in the Excel sheet, right? Then let's say age I am giving. Age I'll give, let's say 32, and then salary I am giving, let's say 6,000, right? So this is a typical example of a dictionary where the first part before, I mean, see, the elements are separated by comma here, right? You can see the elements are separated using comma. This is one key value pair. This is another key value pair, and this is another key value pair, right? Now, if you can see, key remains unique here. You cannot, duplicate the key. Value can get duplicated, so that's not an issue. But that's how a dictionary is created. Now, if you will print this dictionary, and let's print the type also, type of this dictionary. So if I'll run this program, see, this is the output. This is the dictionary, and the type of this particular variable is class dict. So that's how you create a dictionary. Now, if you will create an empty dictionary, so create an empty dictionary, you will just use this open curly braces and close curly braces. And now this particular, variable declaration for empty dictionary gives the impression that you are creating an empty set. But to create an empty set, you basically create something like this. So, so this is a very, confusing thing. So this is how you will basically create the empty dictionary. Cool. Now let's see about retrieval. So we have seen this definition, creating dictionary and retrieval. How do we retrieve the values within the dictionary? Now retrieving the values, let's see in how many ways we can do that. Okay. First of all, retrieving or accessing the value using specific key. Okay. Straightforward. Then accessing all the keys all together and accessing all the values together and then accessing all the basically the items of the dictionary. So we'll see these one by one. How do we do that? So accessing the value using a specific key, first thing. So here in this code, let's say my dictionary dict is there, and I want to access uh, the value at key whose name is name. So this is how I do. I will write the dictionary name, and then square bracket mein I will give the key the key that I want to access. Now, if you remember, so this is kind of a indexing also, right? This is indexing, and indexing may you are retrieving the data using key. If you remember list or string, there also if you define some string, you basically retrieve the character at particular index, let's say at index 2, something like this, right? Now there is a similarity which you can see here, right? So whenever you are accessing the elements in string or list or dictionary, you are using a square bracket at the starting and then at the end. So you are enclosing either index or key within the square bracket. Here also you are using a square bracket, right? So just remember this. So whenever you are trying to access any data structure, so square bracket is something in which you have to enclose the index or the key value I mean the key name in order to basically retrieve the item. So if I'll run this program, it will retrieve the value stored in the key name. So name may John is there. Okay. So this is how you access using a specific key. Now again, the key can be of any data type, right? So यहाँ पे right now you can see the key is of string data type. You can in fact use a key as numerical data type also. Let's say 32 I have given, and यहाँ पे 32 I have written. So this is also a valid dictionary. And if I want to access the key 32, I can simply give 32. So as it will look as if we are trying to index the element at 32 index, but no, in terms of dictionary, this 32 is basically the representation of the key. So if I'll run this, it will give you 32. Now this, many tricky questions can come around this particular concept. So if instead of dict, let's say if I'll write it down as A, and यहाँ पे भी A, and if I'll just ask you this particular line, ki print A32, what does it give? What does it basically give? So यहाँ पे there can be lot many interpretations which can come, right? So you can say that if it is a string or list, then we are trying to access the element at index number 32 in that particular list or in that particular string, right? Another interpretation is that if A is a dictionary, which people will not think straightforward, right? When I'll ask this question. So if A is a dictionary, so A of 32 is a condition where you are trying to access the key whose name is 32. It's a numerical key. So you are trying to access the value at that value stored in that particular key. So yeah, just you have to be mindful when you are answering these kinds of questions. So even if it looks like that you are trying to access the element at some particular index, that is 32 here, but this can be a dictionary, and in that case you are the 32 which you are mentioning here is a key. Okay. uh, cool. So this is about how to access the elements, accessing the value using a specific key. Now next thing is accessing all the keys. So how can I access all the keys within this dictionary? So for that, what I will do, I will use a dot keys method. Okay, so यहाँ पे a dot keys मैं बोल रहा हूँ. So what does, I mean, how do you tell कि keys, is it a function or is it a method? So it's a method in this case because method are accessed using reference variable a dot some method, and function may you directly pass that particular data structure as the argument, right? So this is a method. So a dot keys method, when we will use and when we'll run the program, it will basically give the output in this format. So let's do one thing. यहाँ पे b equal to a dot keys. Let me do that. And then I'm printing a dot keys, and let me also print type of b. If I'll run this program, so type becomes dict keys. Just remember that, right? So the data type of this returned thing, a dot keys, mein whatever it is returned, it is dict key, and that data is represented something like this in this particular manner. And it will basically return all the keys, basically, right? And if you want to, let's see if we can access it using the index b of 2. No, you cannot use basically. It's not indexed, and it will basically give you all the keys at once. Okay, next part. How do you retrieve or access all the values of the dictionary? So for that, you will use a dot values, and if you'll run this program, it will basically give return type as dict values with all the values that are there in the key, right? All the values will be returned, and the data type of that return, whatever values you are getting, is dict underscore values. Cool. Next thing is accessing all the items. So for items, you can use items method, and if you'll use it here, items. Again, if you run this program, it will give all the items where you can see the elements are tuple, and tuple may it's a key value pair, first tuple, second tuple, maybe it's a key value pair, and so on. And the return type is dict underscore items. So this is how you basically access all the items, all the values, all the keys, and accessing value using a specific key. Cool. Now let's see the next thing, how to update dict values, dictionary values. So first thing that we are going to see is updating for a particular key. Okay. Second thing, updating multiple values for a particular key. Updating multiple values for a particular key. And then adding new item and adding multiple items at one key. Adding multiple items at one new key I'm talking here. So new key. Okay, so these four things, let's see. So updating for a particular key. So I have a dictionary A, and this is the, okay, let me change it as dict also. Sometimes it makes more sense if you use the word dict to solidify your, concepts. So abhi, in this case, let's say if I'm doing print of dict, it will print, and after printing, let me change dict of name, this key, the value I'm replacing it with, let's say psi. Okay. And after replacing the value, I'm printing the dictionary again. If I'll run this program, you can see before updating, it was printing name. I mean, it is having the value John in the name, and I have updated the value for the key name as psi. So after that, when I'm printing, it is printing the dictionary with the updated value for the key name. So this is about updating for a particular key. Now, let's see, we want to, update multiple values for a particular key. So multiple values for a particular key का मतलब है, let's say, okay, let me delete this particular key 32 वाला, and uh, let's say यहाँ पे for this let me add multiple values under the key salary. Let's say Sai is doing multiple jobs, and let me update Sai's salary in these multiple jobs: 8,000, 9,000, and 10,000. So Sai is doing three jobs, and these are the salaries which I want to update. And if I'll run this program, you can see that it has updated the salary, and it has updated those I mean the multiple values as tuple. And we have already seen that also, right? It is the example of single variable multiple assignment when we were studying about the variables. So we have seen that when there is a single variable and multiple assignment that we do, then the multiple assignment in the single variable is done in the form of tuple, right? So this is how we basically update multiple values for a particular key. Now adding a new item. So adding a new item is very simple. So I want to, let's say, add a new key in this particular dictionary. So what I will do, dict, and let's say country I will write, and इसमें I will give the value, let's say USA. Okay. So it will add a new key whose key is country and the value is USA. And when I'll run this program, see, before adding the new key, it was giving this dictionary, and after adding the new key, it has accepted that new key with country as USA. It is giving. Okay. So this is how you add a new item, adding item. Now adding multiple items at one new key. Okay, this is new key, right? So this will be again, it will be like the same thing that we have seen. So single variable, this is new variable, and multiple assignment. If I want to do, so if I'll do like this, will it work? It will work, and it will basically country, in the country, it will again take these multiple assignment as a tuple. You can see it is showing as a tuple in the output for this particular dictionary. So this is how you update dictionary values. And these are the four ways that I have taught you on how to do that. Next one is deleting the dictionary, deleting dictionary items. So first case that we are going to see here will be deleting the complete dictionary altogether. Then deleting specific item, then deleting, okay, इसमें deleting specific item, maybe there will be two case. First case is uh, nothing returns. दूसरे केस में return deleted item, deleted item. And यहाँ पे one second, okay, deleting random item and return deleted key value pair, and then emptying the whole dictionary, emptying the whole dictionary. Okay, so these are the things that we are going to see. So first one is deleting the complete dictionary. So for that, I will use DL keyword and dict. Okay. So before deleting, I'm printing the dictionary, and after deleting, I'm printing this dictionary. Let's see what happens if I run this. So before deleting, it is printing the dictionary, and once I'll delete this dictionary, it is just printing the class of this particular dictionary, and it's a it's an empty dictionary. So that is why it is not printing anything. It is just printing that dict was assigned to a data type dict dict. So this is about deleting the complete dictionary. Now deleting a specific item and nothing returns, right? We are going to see this. So if you want to delete a specific item, let's say, or a specific key, I would say in this case, so I will use delete dict. Let's say I want to hide salary for this particular record. I want to hide size salary from the word. So I'll use this delete dict salary. If I'll if I will run this, so you can see before deleting, it was having these many records, and after deleting, it has basically deleted the this particular key value pair that I have just mentioned. Okay, and uh, yeah. Now there is one more thing. Okay, if you will put this delete dictionary, this particular operation in print statement. One second. You cannot print it inside it because delete is a function. Delete is an operation that you are doing, and you cannot put it like this. And you are, let's say there is a dictionary with 1,000 keys, and somewhere in your program, dynamically any key got deleted, and you are not sure which key got deleted, and you want to know the key value pair that got deleted basically. So you want to exactly know what got deleted basically. So in that case, how you will use how you will basically delete the item in that particular case. So in that particular case, what you will do, you will use the instead of this particular line, what you will use, val equal to dict dot pop you will do, and pop may you will give salary. And now it will basically give the value that gets deleted. And यहाँ पे if I'll print value, let's see what happens in this case. So it will tell you the value that the value that got deleted. So, and basically, uh, one thing, I'm just thinking of one more case. Hmm. Okay. Now there is something which basically you can do. I mean, there are some more arguments that you can pass here. ठीक है, ये यहाँ तो this is something that we have done recently in this example, that is clear. Now there is second argument that you can provide inside pop method. Let's say uh, I have written down something like this. ठीक है. Now what is happening if I'm running this program? It is giving 6,000. Why it is giving 6,000? Because it is deleting this particular key value pair and it is returning the value that got deleted. Okay. Now let's say if this particular key is not present, if that particular key is not present and you want to return something even if the key is not present, so this 8,000 will be returned by default in the case where this particular key is not present. So let's say यहाँ salary की जगह salary 1 कर देता हूँ. So salary 1, there is no key with the name salary 1. So in this case, nothing will get deleted, but I want some default value to get returned if that key is not present. So in that case, I will use this second argument. And if I run this program, see, it is returning 8,000, even if it did not deleted anything. And if I will remove this 8,000 and then I am running, in this case, it will throw error, right? It will throw error saying that salary 1 is the key something which is not present. So in order to avoid that error and to return a default value, we use two arguments when we use pop method for deleting any particular value. Next thing is deleting random item and return deleted key value pair. Uh, hmm. How do you do that? let's say यहाँ पे what you will do, you will use dict dot pop item is the method name which you will run, and it will basically remove the random item. Let's run this program first. See, it has removed the random item and it has given the deleted key value pair in the term of tuple. So this particular value stores this key value pair in the form of tuple, and it has returned the dictionary after deleting the item. Now from Python 3.7, so pop item removes the last inserted key value pair from the dictionary and returns it as a tuple. So ये random अभी नहीं हो रहा है, it will be basically checking the last key value pair present in the list and then it is returning. So every time when I'll run, it will just delete the same thing. Cool. So this is about deleting the random item and return deleted key value pair. And next thing is emptying the whole dictionary. So for emptying the whole dictionary, you will use dict dot clear method. So it will clear the whole dictionary. And in this line, it will print an empty dictionary if I'll run this program. So you can see after deleting, it is printing the empty dictionary. So this is how you delete the dictionary items. Now let's come to copy a dictionary. Okay. So copy a dictionary, maybe there are various ways. So first way is by equating. Second is making separate independent copy, making independent copies. And then we have something known as dict method. And yeah, so this is about copying a dictionary. Let's see these one by one. So dict one, let's say this is the dict one. Next thing is dict 2 equal to dict 1. So this basically what it is doing, यहाँ पे it is basically creating, so dictionary was there, so dict 1 was pointing to this dictionary. Oh, what is this? Dict 1. Okay, dict 1 is the reference variable which is basically pointing to this dictionary. And now when I'm creating by equating it to dict1, that is dict2 equal to dict1, what it will do, it will create one more reference variable that will point to the same object for which dict1 was pointing. So this way you can see, if as they are pointing to same object, it becomes, or it makes the dependent copy of this dictionary. So any change that you will do using this variable or any change that you will do using this variable will be reflected across both of these variable. What I mean is that, let's say uh, let's say I'm printing dict 1 and dict 2. Print dict 2 और पहले dict 1, ठीक है. Let's see. So this will basically first of all print both same dictionary. Now after this, let me change the value using dict1 variable, and let me change the age from 32 to 34. And again, let me print dict1 and dict2. So as these are dependent copy, just by changing age as 34, it will reflect in both dict1 and dict2, same age 34. If I'm running this program, you can see here, these are dependent copy, and once I have changed the age using any of these variable, it will be reflected in both of these dictionaries. So this is what is meant by dependent copy of dictionary. Now making independent copies. Now making independent copies, how I will make the independent copies? I'll make dict2 equal to dict1 dot copy method if I use. It makes the independent copy, and now यहाँ पे when I'll do the changes using dict1 variable, it will be just reflected in dict1. I mean the dictionary 1, not in dictionary 2. So if I'll run this program, You can see here it just got changed in the dict1 because it is an independent copy, and dict2 may it is still 32. So this is about creating dependent and independent copy of dictionary, and then dict method is also there. This also creates the independent copy of dictionary. So what I will do, I will create something like this. It is just the type conversion, right? I'm using the type conversion method and then saving it another variable. Here also, if I'll run it, you can see only in dict1 it got changed, and dict2 it is same, because this is also a way of creating the dependent copy of dictionary. So this is about copying the dictionary. Now, something that I have missed to add, it is uh, joining two dictionaries. So join dictionaries. ठीक है. How will I join the dictionary? Concatenation function. Can I use the concatenation? Concat not allowed. Concatenation is not allowed. ठीक है. Second way, by update method. Update method. And third way is by using two asterisks. Now let's see how we do that. So first of all, uh, dict1 is there. Let me create dict2. Dict2 may let's give some other key values. Let's say subject and Python. uh, Python and course duration. Let's say 40 hours. I am giving this second dictionary. And if I'll try to use concatenation to join these two dictionary, it is not possible in this case. Okay. If I'll try to print dict3, let's see what happens. Okay, let me run this program. It will say that unsupported print type plus. So concatenation is not allowed. Cool. So what is the other way then? So um, other way is we will be using update method. So dict1 is there, dict2 is there. Let's say I want to update dict1. So dict1 dot update dict2. So what will happen in this case? Dictionary. So eventually I'll get dictionary 1 only, but it will be with the updated values or the updated members of dictionary 2. So dict1 dot update कर रहा हूं. So dict1 dot update mean eventually I will be updating dict1, not dict2. ठीक है. So इसमें if I'll run this program dict1 and I'll let me print dict2 also. See, dict1 after updating, it has updated dict1, and dict2 is still there with the same value. Now, if I want to update dict2, so I will use dict2 dot update dict1. So यहाँ पे eventually what I am doing, I am updating dict2. So dict1 will remain same, dict2 will be the updated dictionary. I mean the combined joint dictionary. So when I'll run this program, you can see dict1 remains same and dict2 is the joined dictionary having the joined element. Okay. Uh, Next way is the using double asterisk. So a double asterisk, so what do we call it as? We call it as unpacking operator. This is known as unpacking operator. What is unpacking operator means? Let's create another variable dict3 equal to I'll create a new dictionary. यहाँ पे I'll not give the values, key values pair directly. What I am doing is I am unpacking the dictionary one item. and also I'm unpacking the dictionary two items. So what it means is that I'm unpacking and then keeping them as key value pair, and then I'm also unpacking dictionary 2 and keeping them as key value pair in dictionary 3. So eventually dictionary 3 is the joint dictionary having dict 1 and dict 2 as an element. So dict 3 if I'll print, so dict 1 and dict 2 will remain same. Dict 3 will be the joint dictionary for these elements. So if I'll run it, you can see dict 3 is the joint, dict 3 contains the joint elements of dict 1 and dict 2. So this is about uh, joining two dictionaries, right? Now let's see membership operator. So why I wanted to cover the membership operator is to just give you the idea on how do we iterate dictionary. So a dictionary can be iterated using for loop, right? So let's delete all these and let's see that I'm using for I in dict 1, and then I'm printing like this. So what I'm doing is that I'm printing the value inside this dictionary. And membership operator, why I've mentioned, because this in keyword is a membership operator, right? So this is how I will access the item of dictionary using for loop and membership operator. And if I'll run this program, it will eventually tell you the values present in this dictionary in each of the keys that are available, right? And if you just want to access keys, not the values, so how you'll do, you will iterate for I in dict dot keys, right? Because keys will basically return dict underscore keys ka data type having keys there. And when I will run this, it will, okay, no. So this, okay, uh, dict one dot keys print I. So instead of dict I, if I'll do print I, okay, in this case, it will return the keys, name, age, salary, right? And पुराने वाले में when I have done this, okay, okay, so yeah, my bad. So I in dict one, basically it will return keys only, and you will basically fetch the keys as the iterating element, as the iterating variable. And keys, you can access keys, and values, how you'll access dict one of I. So you can access both key and values like this also, right? Now uh, right, and if you'll use dict dot items here and just print I. So in this case, you will get the key value pair as the tuple that gets returned from here. Okay. And if you will run ticked dot values, it will just give the values with the variable I. So you can iterate, you can use for loop over the normal dict dot keys, dict dot values, and dict dot items. So whatever is your use case, accordingly you can use that and then use the for loop, and using membership operator on that particular dictionary, you can access the elements of the dictionary. So this is about dictionaries. Okay, any questions? Anything from any one of you? And again, so whenever you are just revising the concept, just try to, refer this mind map. Mind mapping is very important for solidifying your concept, and it will basically help you in creating a photogenic memory. So just remember, so whenever you are learning anything, just try to, map all the concepts or you're learning through mind map, because it gives photogenic memory. And there is one historical person who had a photogenic memory. I don't know if anyone can answer who that person was. And he was an Indian, and he was well known for his photogenic memory. So it was Swami Vivekanand, right? So he had a photogenic memory, and it was famous about him that if he just looks, the pages of the book, he will be able to remember whole book just by seeing the pages. It's because of the fact that he had photogenic memory. And mind map, using mind map is one of the effective way to develop the photogenic memory, and that's why I'm using mind maps to impart all the learnings, or all the teachings basically, which I teach you guys. Cool. So we are done with Python dictionary. So next thing that we are going to pick is Python functions. And we have a quiz also. So let's take a 10 minutes break. Let's meet after 10 minutes break. And I may unshare my screen because I want to open the quiz. So let me first, one second, let me unshare the screen. Let me see if the quiz is ready. Menti.com. Give me 2 minutes. Hmm. Okay. I'll just post the 2436 5259 5259. So this will be the code for today's quiz. So, but before that, let's take a 10-minute break. Now let me reshare my screen again, and we'll meet after 10 minutes and we'll start with the quiz. Cool. So yeah, let's meet after 10 minutes. Thank you guys. Okay, welcome back. Guys, if you can open your menti.com, we will start with the quiz. So let's check the set, tuple, and dictionary knowledge for you guys. And whatever you can see on the screen, right? 24365259 is the code that I have pasted in the chat also. So I'm just starting the presentation. I'll wait for some time so that you guys can join in. I can see one player is ready. Uh, Sorry about that. Okay, I can see two players are ready. So we'll wait for two more players. Please open menti.com and join in this quiz. You can see the code is being displayed on top of the screen. Three players are ready. Okay, two players are ready. One left, I believe. Okay, only one player I can see. Please join menti.com, guys. I can see three players ready. Still two players are yet to join. I think Vishant have some issues with, not sure. Vishant, are you able to, hear me? Okay, some issue with Vishant. Okay, yeah, okay. So please join the menti.com. I think two more players are yet to join. Okay, I'll start the quiz in next 20 seconds. Please join whoever has not joined the quiz yet. I can see three players ready. Cool. Let's get started. So I'm starting the quiz. So here comes the first question on your screen. What is A if A equal to this? And we have talked a lot about this particular thing. Okay, everyone has voted. Let's go to the leaderboard. Okay, before leaderboard, let's see what is the correct answer. Correct answer is empty dictionary. Let's go to the leaderboard. Raj had answered it fastest. Cool. Next, let's go to the next question. Here comes the next question. I can see all four players are ready. I'm starting the quiz. Here comes the second question. Indexing is not applied on which of the following? List, tuple, set, string. Pretty simple question, right? Everyone has voted. And what's the correct answer? The correct answer is set. Oh my God, no one has answered it correctly. Okay, let's go to the leaderboard. So leaderboard will be same. There should not be any change in that. Okay, tuple you can still access the elements using the index, right? Set is unindexed. Okay, let's go to the next question. This is question number 3. I'm starting the quiz now. So the question number 3 comes on your screen. What's the output of this statement? Fastest finger first. Everyone has voted, and the correct answer is 10. It will do the summation of 1, 2, 3, and it will also, start by default with 4. So it is something like 1, 2, 3 plus 4. Let's go to the leaderboard and see who is leading the charts. Okay, Raz and Millie had answered it correctly. Raj is still leading the chart. Millie is second. I don't know who is Beyonce. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, three players are ready. Two players are ready. Okay, I can see three players ready now. I'm still waiting for one more player. I think Frosty was the player. No, no, not Frosty. Someone, I think someone is yet to join. I'll wait for 10 more seconds and then I'll start the next question. Okay, here comes the question number 4. What's the output of this print statement? So it is something related to subset and superset, if you remember, right, in terms of sets. And the correct answer is okay. The correct answer is false, and no one has answered it correctly. So 4 and 5 is 4 and 5 superset of 1 and 2. No, right? 4 and 5 do not exist in this 1 comma 2 wala set. So the output should be false. Let's go to the leaderboard. Let's see. Okay, no one has answered it correctly. So the chart still looks same as it was there till the last question. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so here comes the question number 5 on your screen. Which of them is mutable? Everyone has voted. Okay, only one had answered it correctly. The mutable data structure is list. Rest other string tuple are immutable, and frozen set is existing because frozen set is the immutable what you say equivalent of a set. So the correct answer is list in this in these cases, whatever you can see the option on your screen. So let's go to the leaderboard and see who had answered it correctly. Okay, only Raj has answered it correctly, and Raj is leading the tables. Okay, let's go to the last question. So question number 6. Be ready. Here it comes. Fastest finger first. Let's see who wins after this question. So dictionary keys must be. Okay, everyone has voted. Let's see what is the correct answer. So dictionary keys are immutable and only one person had answered it correctly. So let's go to the leaderboard and see who had answered it correctly. Millie had answered it correctly. So, okay, finally, Raj is the winner. Congratulations, Raj. So this is about our today's Menti quiz. Now let's start our next topic. Cool. Okay. So the next topic is Python functions. Functions basically. So what is Python functions? So function basically, first of all, we will see what are functions in Python. Okay. Then difference between parameters and arguments, very confusing thing and very simple. Then types of what you say arguments, right? And what else? Return value for the function. and the global versus local variables. And then we have the concept of functions are basically the object. So what are the different scenarios in this? We will see that. And then we will see the lambda functions or lambdas basically. So what are function? Let's start with function. So functions are nothing but a piece of code which only runs when it is called, right? So that means you will be creating some piece of code. This is a piece of code having a lot of statements in this. It will sit with your code and it will not run unless you will call it, right? So we basically define function with the variable keyword def. I'll give some name f1 and then like this, and indentation is 4 spaces after it, right? So whatever you will define inside it, so this will be basically a function. So it's a piece of code, reusable piece of code, which runs when it is called. And then what is the difference between function and method? That I have already told you. So function are something in the functional programming, it's a piece of reusable code where it is outside any of the classes, or classes do not exist in this particular context. Whereas methods are something which are tied to classes. So when you create a class and then the reusable piece of code that you will write inside a class, that particular thing will look like a function, but we call it as a method. So that's the close line of difference between functions and methods. So we are discussing about functions in this case. Now, how do we create a function? That we have already seen. So let me go to the PyCharm and let me create a simple function def f1, and I'll write a print statement. This is a function. Okay. So you can see here it's a standalone reusable piece of code. If I'm running this program, nothing is happening. You can see in the output nothing is happening and a blank screen or a blank line is coming. That means this function is not getting executed. Why it is not getting executed? Because by definition we basically learned that the function is a reusable piece of code which will only learn when we call it. So how do we call the function? We'll just write the name of the function and that's it. With the curly with the opening and closing bracket, we will write it like this. And now what will happen if I run this code? It will call the function. So this is a standalone piece of code sitting quietly. It is quite so execution is start from here. Okay, interpreters saw that okay, some piece of code is there. It is a quiet piece of code as of now. It is not being called, so let's not touch it. And on line number 7, as soon as it encounters that, okay, this function is being called. So what will it do? It will go inside this particular function. And then whatever piece of code written inside it, it will execute that. And that's why the output is this is function when we run this by calling the function f1 on line number 7. So this is the basic definition of function. Now let's give some, let's say I'm giving here name and then this is function and name, let's say like this I'm doing. And यहाँ पे let me pass f1. Now the difference between arguments and parameters. So parameter is the name of the variable which you defined in the uh, function declaration. So यहाँ पे this is the parameter, and when you call that function which have parameter in its declaration and then you pass the value while calling the function, in that particular situation we call that particular value as an argument. So this is argument whenever you are calling. So whatever value you are passing, that's known as an argument. And in the declaration or the definition of a function, whatever value you declare, that is known as parameter. So this is the difference between parameter and argument. And parameter, it can be of any data type here. and we can pass any data type as the argument. So just remember the close difference, close demarcation between parameter and argument. People sometimes use these terms interchangeably, but this is how the correct definition of parameter and argument looks. Now let's talk about the type of arguments or parameters. If I'll go to the mind map, so next thing is types of arguments. So it's my first thing that we are going to see is arbitrary arguments. Okay. And then next after that, we'll see keyword arguments. We can call it as arbitrary arguments, arbitrary parameters, keyword arguments, keyword parameters. So uh, in whatever context we are talking, so the definition or the name changes. So I'll tell you in a while. So keyword arguments, then arbitrary keyword arguments, arbitrary keyword arguments, then optional arguments, optional arguments or optional parameters, whatever you want to call them. ऑप्शनल आर्ग्यूमेंट और इसमें डिफॉल्ट पैरामीटर बोलते हैं. क्यों बोलते हैं? I'll come to that. पैरामीटर. ठीक है. And then we will see at last what are the rules with arguments. ठीक है. Now let's start these one by one. So what is arbitrary arguments? ठीक है. Let's see that. If I'll go to the PyCharm. So when we are not sure about how many arguments will be passed in the function, then we add star before parameter name. तो यहाँ पे if I use star, so this becomes arbitrary parameter here, and the values which I will pass, let's say f1 comma f2 comma 40. Okay. Okay. If you look closely, so यहाँ पे asterisk name is there, right? Asterisk name suggests that the arguments will be arbitrary. Arbitrary means basically any number of arguments it will receive. Arguments it will receive. And यहाँ पे asterisk name you can call it as in this context arbitrary parameter or parameters, and randomly you are passing the values while you are calling this function, right? So यहाँ पे when you are calling this function with any number of arguments, so this denotes that it can either you can pass only one argument, two argument, three argument. It is arbitrary, it is random, it is dynamic in nature. You can pass any number of arguments. So in that case, you will call them as arbitrary arguments. So you can see the difference between the definitions, right? Arbitrary parameter and arbitrary argument. So just depending on the terms, you just make out if it is mentioned as arbitrary parameter, if it is mentioned as arbitrary argument. So what does it mean? You'll be able to figure it out now, right? So the arbitrary argument that you are passing here, when you are printing that inside a function, it will be printed or it will be taken as a tuple of values. So whatever arbitrary arguments that you are passing here will be stored as a tuple, and which will be basically used inside that. And if you want to access, let's say, the first element at index 1 of from that tuple, so f2 in this case, so you'll be able to do that by indexing this tuple, and this is how you will be able to get out the elements from that particular tuple. So this is about arbitrary arguments. So yeah, so this is first thing, right? Second thing is keyword arguments. So what are keyword arguments? So keyword arguments में यहाँ पे F1 पे let's say I am giving, what should I give? Name, age, salary. Same. Let's take the same example. Name, यहाँ पे name, age, salary like this. ठीक है. So what is happening in this case? यहाँ पे if I'll give name equal to Sunny, age equal to let's say 32, and then salary equal to 10,000, something like this if I'm giving. And if I'll run this program, okay, got an expected age. Okay, sorry, age में A is small, salary में S is small. Okay. So this is the example of keyword arguments. Arguments when I'm talking, so I'm just focusing on this area because argument when I mean the argument comes into the picture when we are making the function call, right? So यहाँ पे if you can see, ये name, age, salary are the parameters, and while calling the function, when we basically give uh, in the key value pair, so that is known as keyword arguments. Keyword arguments. And when I'll run this program, it will basically print the function जो भी है, whatever we are doing inside it. Now, what is the usage of this, right? Now, usage is it's simply like, let's say, let's take one more example. F1 में यहाँ पे मैं I'm giving Sunny, I'm giving 30, what? Sunny 32 and 10,000, like this I'm giving, right? Now the name is salary का जो order है while calling this function, it is a fixed order. ठीक है, first of all I'll give name, then only I'll give a, and then only I'll give salary. Both cases it will be running and giving the same output, right? Okay, 1 0 is missing. Sunny will get angry on me. Okay, ठीक है. अब what is the usage in this case? यहाँ पे you can mix and match. You just are worried about key value pair. So ये वाला key value pair आप पहले दे सकते हो. Age वाला you can, let's say, give it in middle, and it will still work because arguments and parameters are mapped by a key value pair. And if I'll run this program, it will again, it will be able to perform the same operation. So that is the important thing, that the order of the argument doesn't matter when you use keyword arguments. So uh, this is the usage of using the keyword arguments. Now next thing is uh, arbitrary keyword arguments. So when we combine arbitrary arguments and keyword arguments, then we land upon arbitrary keyword arguments. Okay. So arbitrary keyword arguments में how will I basically do? So arbitrary arguments में I was using one asterisk. Arbitrary keyword argument में I'll be using two asterisk, like this A, and now this A will behave as a dictionary. So you can pass while calling, you can pass it as a dictionary, and that dictionary can be anything. Okay, so let's see that first. I'll just print यहाँ पे inside this function I'll print A, and यहाँ पे uh, ठीक है, keyword key I can pass like this also. If I'll run, it will still, print the output. Or let's try to pass it as a pure dictionary like this. Let's see if it works. Salary and name Sunny, Sunny, and age 32. ओके, क्या हो गया इसमें? Yeah, what is
Uh, we know in arbitrary we can give either 1 star or 2 star.
arbitrary में we were giving 1 star. This is arbitrary keyword argument, so here we are giving 2 stars.
Okay.
Okay, I'm missing something or what in this?
Yeah, come after Sunny.
Sorry?
Come after Sunny.
Right. So if I'll run this, Okay, what it is telling? Okay, take zero positional argument, but one was given. F1 zero positional argument. Hmm. I don't know. We will be able to pass it like this. Let's see on Chat GPT what is the error it is showing. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, so that is the difference, right? So here, keyword argument. So the word suggest. What do we call it this as? We call this as arbitrary. That means random keyword argument. So यहाँ पे it is expecting more than one element, but यहाँ पे if you look closely, this is constituting only one element, right? Which we are passing in the form of dictionary, but as we are mentioning the arbitrary keyword parameter, so यहाँ पे we will call it as parameter, arbitrary keyword parameter. तो यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे? Arbitrary means any number और dynamic. Keyword argument means key value pair. So यहाँ पे it should be key value pairs, something like this that I have just shown you few minutes back. So that's when it will work, and that's when if you are not sure, you just want to create a function where you want to pass some key value pair. It can be dynamic also. In future it can grow based on your requirement. So in that case you will be using keyword arbitrary keyword arguments. So that's how it basically works. So when we had one star, so the A behaves as a tuple there. When we had two stars, so A basically behaves as a dictionary there. So this is the difference between arbitrary arguments and arbitrary keyword arguments. Okay, next thing. So next thing is
So,
optional.
Abhinav, here,
Hmm.
here we in arbitrary um, parameter, we always have to pass data as key value pair, or
Yes,
just we can also, acha,
we can see.
in
Let's
the
see
both
if
the,
we'll यहाँ पे if let's say we'll try to pass F1. One second. F1. ठीक है, इसमें let's if we are giving just Sunny, will it work? No, it will not work. If we'll pass Sunny comma 32, will it work? No, it will not work. So basically, you have to pass in key value pair only. That's why these two asterisk sign. That's what these two asterisk sign denotes. That anything that you want to pass should be in key value pair. So
and
that. Hmm.
if there is one star only,
So that one star we have already seen, right? One star may that is known as arbitrary argument. One star may
mm,
you have to pass it as a tuple, or you can pass multiple values. So यहाँ पे 32 12 sunny when you will give it will work. And यहाँ पे a जो होगा output में it will be tuple. So if you are running it you can see, right, it is a tuple. But
yeah, yeah,
in with two star when you do with two star, so just remember in this way, यहाँ पे कितने स्टार है? टू स्टार.
two star,
सो टू नंबर रिप्रेजेंट व्हाट? जब आप की वैल्यू पेयर में देते हो तो की वैल्यू पेयर मिला के कितनी चीजें हो गई? एक तो ये हो गई और ये दो चीजें हो गई, राइट? तो व्हेन देयर आर
yeah,
टू स्टार्स यू हैव टू गिव इन की वैल्यू पेयर, दो चीजों में देना है. मतलब की वैल्यू पेयर इज समथिंग लाइक नेम इक्वल टू सनी, and then next thing also something whatever you will give should be in key value pair, something like this. uh,
okay.
okay, इक्वल टू यार डिक्शनरी का एंड जस्ट यू विल गेट कंफ्यूज. तो ठीक है ना, ये की वैल्यू पेयर में मतलब जो की है इट शुड बी विदाउट कोटेशन, विदाउट कोट्स, एंड इंस्टेड ऑफ जैसे डिक्शनरी में आप कोलन देते थे ना, यू डोंट हैव टू गिव कोलम, इट हैज टू बी द असाइनमेंट ऑपरेटर हियर, एंड देन नाउ इट विल
Mm,
बिहेव एज अ डिक्शनरी. सो दो स्टार है मतलब
Okay.
दो चीजें देनी है, दो चीजें हो गई की एंड वैल्यू, दो चीजें। सिंगल स्टार है तो इट विल बिहेव एज अ ट्यूपल।
Mhm.
Cool. Next thing is optional arguments with default parameters. What does it mean? So optional, let's say F1 में I am giving A equal to Sunny. Sunny. ठीक है, Sunny दे दिया. And when I'm calling this F1, यहाँ पे there are two things that will happen. First of all, जो यहाँ पे A दिया है, this is known as optional, sorry, not optional, default parameter. एंड यहाँ पे वट एवर आर्ग्यूमेंट यू विल गिव इट्स ऑप्शनल। ऑप्शनल, ऑप्शनल का मतलब आइदर जीरो आर्ग्यूमेंट्स और वैलिड आर्ग्यूमेंट्स। ठीक है, दो चीजें हो सकती है ऑप्शनल में। तो हमने यहाँ जीरो दिया, व्हेन वी पास जीरो आर्ग्यूमेंट, तो in that case the function call will happen, and when we are having zero arguments, then it will take the default parameter. The value of a will be default value sunny, तो यहाँ पे this is function equal to sunny it will print. So यहाँ पे हमारे पास दो choices थी, either first one is optional में zero argument देने की, और valid argument। तो valid argument क्या हो सकते हैं यहाँ पे? Only one parameter is there ना, तो I can pass only one argument। वन आर्ग्यूमेंट में मैं यहाँ पे सनी कुमार देता हूँ। सो दिस इज वैलिड आर्ग्यूमेंट। अब मैं दो, एक से ज्यादा नहीं दे सकता हूँ, बिकॉज इट विल नॉट बी ए वैलिड आर्ग्यूमेंट इन दैट केस, राइट? बिकॉज वैलिड आर्ग्यूमेंट इज, यहाँ पे एक पैरामीटर है तो एक ही आई कैन पास। तो इन दिस केस व्हेन आई रन दिस प्रोग्राम, it will take Sunny Kumar now. It will not take this. So that's what the optional parameter or optional argument with default parameter means.
So if I do not give anything, so it will print as a Sunny.
Yeah, whatever default parameter that you have mentioned there, it will print that. Okay, and यहाँ पे you can give it as a equal to, like this also you can give, which is like keyword argument type, right? So यहाँ पे ऐसे भी दे सकते हो, then also it will work. कुछ नहीं दोगे then तो it will again take sunny. बट यहाँ पे आप डायरेक्ट ऐसे दे सकते हो, विदाउट कीवर्ड दे सकते हो, एंड yeah, so that is that's about this particular optional parameters, optional argument with default parameter means. Okay, and now let's talk about the rules in the parameters, right? तो rules में क्या क्या है, let's talk about the rules में जो है, जो आपके arbitrary parameters हो गए, so let me write down ऐसे tu स्टार टी यू पी ट्यूपल होता है। क्या होता है वो? आर्बिट्री पैरामीटर। कीवर्ड आर्बिट्री पैरामीटर क्या होता है? वो डिक्शनरी होता है। तो लेट मी राइट डाउन एज डिक्ट, आई मीन या पैरामीटर। सो आर्बिट्री पैरामीटर, कीवर्ड आर्बिट्री पैरामीटर, या कीवर्ड आर्ग्यूमेंट्स जो हो गए, और डिफॉल्ट पैरामीटर जो हो गए, डिफॉल्ट पैरामीटर्स और ऑप्शनल कीवर्ड आर्ग्यूमेंट। ओके, all these things, what will be the rule is that should be placed in the last, should be placed in the last during function declaration। अब इसका मतलब क्या है? Let's see that। हाँ, so this is the rule basically. Now let's see how this rule is implemented। मतलब ये है कि let's say if I have defined function में ABC is there, let's say A comma B comma C is there, and I'm printing everything A comma B comma C inside this function, and यहाँ पे okay, not this, basically default parameter, one second, default parameter क्या था रूल यहाँ पे? should be placed last, not in the function declaration, should be placed last in arguments. ठीक है. अब what does it mean कि मैं ABC मैंने यहाँ पे दिया. Now if I'll pass 2, 3, 3 well and fine, yeah, it will work. It will print 2, 3, 4. अब मैं इसकी जगह लेट्स से आई हैव डिसाइडेड टू यूज कीवर्ड आर्ग्यूमेंट्स, तो मैं यहाँ पे अगर b = 3 दे देता हूँ, इट विल नॉट रन, इट विल क्रिएट एरर. ठीक है. तो वो रूल क्या कहता है कि जब आप कीवर्ड आर्ग्यूमेंट यूज कर रहे हो, इसमें से एक कीवर्ड आर्ग्यूमेंट भी है, राइट. सो कीवर्ड आर्ग्यूमेंट शुड बी प्लेस्ड लास्ट इन द आर्ग्यूमेंट लिस्ट. तो ये b = 3 जो है आई हैव टू प्लेस इट एट द लास्ट. b = 3 something like this, and if I'll try to run now, this, okay, got multiple values for, okay, mm, a comma 1 second, okay, it has to be c, 3, so it will work now. 2 4 2 4 3. So what it means is that, so arbitrary argument जो है, that has to be basically placed in the last. Okay, now let's talk about the optional parameters basically. जैसे ऑप्शनल पैरामीटर में, जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे b = लेट्स से यहाँ पे मैंने ऑप्शनल वैल्यू दे दी b = 7, c = 8 दे दी मैंने यहाँ पे, एंड मैंने यहाँ पे सिर्फ बी ए पास किया. इफ आई रन दिस इट विल रन फाइन, राइट. 2 इसने यहाँ पे ले लिया, एंड बी एंड सी आई हैवंट गिवन, सो इट हैज टेकन दी default parameters, so 7 and 8, that's why it is printing in the output, right. Now let's see, let's say that कि ओके 2, 3 दिया मैंने, तो यहाँ पे जो ए में गई वो वैल्यू 2 गई, बी में 3 चली जाएगी, और ये जो डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू है इट विल नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल, सो आउटपुट विल बी 2, 3, एंड यहाँ पे सी कुछ नहीं दिया तो 8 आएगा. सो 2, 3, 8 विल बी द आउटपुट इफ आई रन द प्रोग्राम. 2, 3, 8 is the output. Now, if I will give one, sorry, let's say if I'll give 1 and b = 3 or 2 and 3, something like this. Again, so positional argument basically follows the keyword argument. तो ये जो है ना, this thing, again, this has to be last, but वो b में already यहाँ पे इसने by default ले लिया, so it has to be c in this case. So this is how, I mean, so these are the rules basically. So you just have to be, mindful about placing the arguments when you are calling the, different scenarios with different arguments. So you have to be mindful about it. So this is what is meant by the rules with the arguments. Okay. Now, what was the next topic? Return value tha na, I believe. Okay, this we have done, finished with this, we have finished this, we have finished return value. ठीक है. Let's talk about return value. So return value, when we talk about return value, so we don't specifically require to mention the return type while defining the function. So, and function may or may not return the value, right? Simple return without any value will return. Okay, ठीक है. So इसमें let's see that कि मैंने यहाँ पे I'll take it as a and print और let's say a, b मैं ले रहा हूँ, एंड यहाँ पे प्रोडक्ट कर रहा हूँ मैं ए और बी का ना. सो प्रोडक्ट इक्वल टू a*b एंड 2, 3. तो मैं यहाँ पे कर रहा हूँ तो प्रोडक्ट 6 दे रहा है यहाँ पे, राइट. नाउ दिस इज नॉट रिटर्निंग एनी वैल्यू, आई एम जस्ट प्रिंटिंग इट. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस कि मैं यहाँ पे रिटर्न कर रहा हूँ, इंस्टेड ऑफ आई एम प्रिंटिंग इट इनसाइड द फंक्शन ऑल्सो, एंड आई एम रिटर्निंग द वैल्यू रिटर्न a*b. सो अभी रिटर्न मैं कर रहा हूं. सो व्हाट विल हैपन इन दिस केस, दिस इज प्रोडक्ट, और यहाँ पे मैं जब प्रिंट स्टेटमेंट डालूंगा तो ये यहाँ पे भी रिटर्न करके वैल्यू देगा, मतलब कि 2 बार इट इज बेसिकली प्रिंटिंग 2 टाइम्स. एक तो पहले ये यहाँ वाला बेसिकली ये जो फंक्शन कॉल हुआ इट विल गो इनसाइड दिस एंड दिस प्रोडक्ट इक्वल टू 6 इट विल कैलकुलेट एंड देन अगेन इट इज रिटर्निंग 6। तो ये जो वैल्यू है ना F(A)(2,3) ये भी रिटर्न हो रही है। ओके, लेट मी सिंप्लीफाई इट लिटिल बिट सो दैट इट डजंट क्रिएट एनी कंफ्यूजन। तो यहां से मैं हटा के P इक्वल टू ये देता हूँ एंड यहाँ पे प्रिंट P करता हूँ। तो दैट विल क्लैरिफाई द थिंग्स। तो यहाँ पे ये 6 इट इज रिटर्निंग 6 विच इज वेल नोन फैक्ट। यहाँ पे लेकिन मैं अगर रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट हटा देता हूँ एंड व्हेन आई रन दिस प्रोग्राम it basically prints none. So when you are trying to print any value for the function which do not return anything, so and as a matter of fact, not just function, for method also it applies the same. If a function or method does not return anything and you are trying to print the returned value, it prints none. And if it returns something and then you are trying to print the value, so it will basically print the applicable return value. So in this case it is printing 6 and in the previous case you have seen it was printing none because that particular function do not return any value. Now simple return जो होता है, if we can put a simple return statement also. So simple return जो होता है, हाउ डू इट वर्क? सो मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ। इफ ए यहाँ पे दिया मैंने एंड इफ ए इक्वल टू 5 लेट से, उस केस में क्या करना है? रिटर्न कर देना है और प्रिंट ए, प्रिंट ए, ठीक है। लेट मी कॉल F1 विद 2। यहाँ पे इफ आई रन इट इट इज प्रिंटिंग 2। मतलब क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? आई एम पासिंग 2 एज ए वैल्यू, यहाँ पे 2 गया, ये वाला इट विल नॉट गेट एग्जीक्यूट बिकॉज ए इज नॉट इक्वल टू 2, 2 इज नॉट इक्वल टू 5 एंड इट इज प्रिंटिंग द वैल्यू दैट इज पास्ड ऑन टू ए। तो ए में 2 गया था तो इट इज प्रिंटिंग 2, तो आउटपुट 2 आ रहा है। इफ आई विल पास 5, सो 5 के केस में क्या होगा? आई विल गो इनसाइड दिस इफ लूप, सॉरी इफ स्टेटमेंट, एंड यहाँ पर रिटर्न है। सो रिटर्न का मतलब है कि रिटर्न द कंट्रोल टू दी कॉलर। तो यहाँ पे कॉलर ये है, राइट? यहाँ पे 8 लाइन नंबर इज द कॉलर। तो यहाँ से एज सुन एज रिटर्न एम्प्टी रिटर्न इज बीन encountered, it will basically return to this line. मतलब it will basically think or it will basically complete the execution of this function. तो यहाँ पे in this case return आएगा और ये यहाँ पे आ जाएगा and it will not print anything. ये इस line पे it will not go. So in this case nothing will get printed in the output. So simple return statement or simple return will uh, uh, it will return the control to the caller. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so this is about the return statement or return function, return statements. Now next thing is global versus local variables. This thing we will be going to see. So इसमें ठीक है, इसमें लेट्स टॉक अबाउट लोकल वेरिएबल्स फर्स्ट। सो लोकल वेरिएबल्स जो होते हैं उसका क्या होता है? सबसे पहले लोकल वेरिएबल्स कैन बी यूज्ड इनसाइड फंक्शन ओनली, ठीक है, फर्स्ट रूल। दूसरा है लोकल वेरिएबल्स कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड आउटसाइड फंक्शंस, ठीक है। सिंपल है, दिस इज सिंपल, बट बिफोर दैट लेट्स सी व्हाट आर लोकल वेरिएबल्स। सो यहाँ पे लेट्स से इन दिस फंक्शन, लेट्स कॉल इट एज ए फंक्शन, ठीक है। यहाँ पे इस फंक्शन में लेट्स डिफाइन एस इक्वल टू पाइथन एंड यहाँ पे आई एम डूइंग प्रिंट एस, ठीक है। यहाँ पे आई एम डूइंग प्रिंट एस एंड F1 को मैं कॉल कर रहा हूँ and when I'll run it, it will print Python. So Python is basically printed using S. So S is local variable उसका जिसका scope is within this function. And if I try to print S outside the function, let's say मैं यहाँ पे print S करता हूँ, it will not Remember s as any variable because s is not accessible outside the function. So यहाँ पे it is accessible inside the function only. So that defines two rules, right? Local variable. Local variables can be used inside function only. Local variables cannot be used outside function, right? Cool. Now let's talk about global variables. ग्लोबल वेरिएबल्स, अब ग्लोबल वेरिएबल्स में क्या क्या रूल होते हैं? पहला रूल, ग्लोबल वेरिएबल जीवी, ठीक है, लेट मी डिनोट इट विद जीवी, कैन बी यूज्ड एनीवेयर, ठीक है, फाइन, इनसाइड अ फंक्शन local variable have high precedence than global variable. Local variable have high precedence than global variable. Fine, we will see that. Value of global variable cannot be changed inside the function without global keyword. Global variable value inside a function can only be changed can only be changed or rather can not be changed without global keyword. ठीक है, this is one thing. And value of global variable can be changed inside the function using a global keyword. Value of global variable can be changed inside a function using global keyword, ठीक है, which is understood. And to declare a global okay, very important rule. To declare a global variable from inside a function, we have to it declare it using global keyword. ठीक है, very important. So let's see these one by one for global variables now. ठीक है, okay. पहला रूल क्या है? ग्लोबल वेरिएबल कैन बी यूज्ड एनीवेयर, ठीक है, सो दैट इज a simple thing. S equal to Python if I'm giving, ठीक है, and instead of local global let me give it as global. इसको मैं global देता हूँ और print s यहाँ पे देता हूँ, फंक्शन कॉल किया यहाँ पे, print s यहाँ पे भी करता हूँ. लेट्स सी हाउ इट वर्क्स इन दिस केस. ओके, ग्लोबल ग्लोबल. सो पहला अपना जो कॉन्सेप्ट था, ग्लोबल वेरिएबल कैन बी यूज्ड एनीवेयर. एनीवेयर का मतलब inside the function I'll be able to use, outside the function also I'll be able to use, so it can be used anywhere, right? Because that's what the name suggests, global, right? Second point is, inside a function local variable have high precedence than global variable. What does it mean? मेरा एक variable है s equal to global, inside function I am giving same name s equal to local. ठीक है, अभी क्या होगा when I'll run this program? So what my second rule says that inside a function local variable has high precedence than global variable. मतलब when I'll be printing s here, it will print this s equal to local. It will not consider global because inside a function global variable local variable have high precedence than the global variable. So when I'll run this program, यहाँ पे इस line पे it will print local and in this line it will print global. Let me run this program and show it to you. See, local and global is printed. So local has been attributed from this print statement, पहले वाला, and then the global is being attributed from this print statement. Okay, so this defines the rule number 2 that we have seen. Okay. Okay, yeah, this one. Now let's see the third rule. Global variable values inside a function cannot be changed without global keyword. ठीक है, what does it mean? मतलब है कि अगर मैं इनसाइड ए फंक्शन इफ आई एम गिविंग एस इक्वल टू एस प्लस लोकल देता हूँ, व्हाट इज से एस okay, 1 second, huh? S equal to global I have given, and then what I am trying to do is S plus equal to Python, and then print S. Why it does not create parameter? Okay, so you will not be able to change the value of the global variable inside the local variable inside the function. See, यहाँ पे why it is happening, why error is coming. In this case, we have defined only global variable s as a global variable. So when you are trying to change the value of s inside a function, so you cannot change it. कैसे चेंज हो जाती अगर मैं एक और if I would have defined one more variable as equal to let's say Python. In this case, I'll be able to do that because in this case, this situation looks like as if I'm changing the value of the local variable, not global variable, right? So, uh, basically, the value of a global variable inside a function cannot be changed. यहाँ पे that is why it is throwing the error. अभी मेरे को change करना है. If I want to change the value, so if I want to change the value of global variable inside function, तो अभी मैं पहले हमने देखा था if I am giving s equal to Python here, ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे जब मैंने print s किया था, ये it will print पाइथन, फिर यहाँ पे प्लस कर रहा है, पाइथन लोकल प्रिंट करेगा इस लाइन पे, एंड इन दिस लाइन इट विल स्टिल प्रिंट ग्लोबल. तो वैल्यू दैट आई हैव चेंज्ड इनसाइड दिस फंक्शन वाज द लोकल वेरिएबल ओनली. ग्लोबल वेरिएबल का वैल्यू इज स्टिल अनचेंज्ड. So let me run the program to show you the concept that I am showing. So Python local जो है इस लाइन पे this is the local variable value that you are changing, not the global value. So global का it is still global. Now what I mean is that कि you want to change इसका value, global variable का value from inside a function. How do you do that? So for that आपको you will use the word global ऐसे करके global s, and now ये क्या कर रहा है, what it is doing, ये बोल रहा है कि भाई s को I will use it as a global and I'll do the modification for this global variable. So treat this s inside this function as a global variable. ठीक है. So when I'll run this program, यहाँ पे भी ग्लोबल प्लस लोकल प्रिंट करेगा एंड यहाँ पे भी ग्लोबल प्लस लोकल प्रिंट करेगा बिकॉज इट हैज चेंज द ग्लोबल ग्लोबल वेरिएबल. यहाँ पे मैं अगर s इक्वल टू पाइथन देता हूँ, व्हाट विल हैपन इन दिस केस. सो इट विल बेसिकली लाइन नंबर 1 पे डिफाइन कर दिया था कि भाई s वट एवर s यू विल बी यूजिंग इन दिस फंक्शन आफ्टर दिस लाइन, इट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज ए ग्लोबल वेरिएबल ओनली. तो यहाँ पे s इक्वल टू पाइथन दिया तो s ग्लोबल की वैल्यू s ग्लोबल से s पाइथन हो गई, और यहाँ पे पाइथन प्लस लोकल किया तो पाइथन प्लस लोकल ही हो गई, एंड both of these places it has changed this value python local. अगर मैं इसको पहले देता हूं, it will be still okay. ये आप in this case you will find the error, syntax error कि name s is assigned before global declaration. So global s should be the first statement, and then this is how you define. So this is a very confusing thing, right? It's not a confusing thing. There are a lot of concepts, underlying concepts behind it. So just try to see this video, recording of this video again and again to understand these concepts. So, and these you will be encountering lot many times in the real world Python applications, where the application developers are using global variable usage. I mean, wherever they are trying to use the global variables from inside a function. So this is how you do that. So value of global variable can be changed inside a function using global keyword only. एंड नेक्स्ट पॉइंट क्या था? नेक्स्ट पॉइंट वाज कि to declare a global variable from inside a function we have to declare it using a global keyword. मतलब यहाँ पे मैंने अभी global नहीं दिया और s इक्वल टू पाइथन ऐसे कर दिया मैंने. नाउ तो s जो पाइथन है वो यहाँ पे it will look as if I'm declaring it inside a function, so it will look like as if it is a local variable, but no, I have used the global keyword on s inside a function, so now s will be treated as a global variable. So inside the function it will print Python, and then outside the function when I'll try to print, it will print as a global variable only. तो मैं इस function को if I will hide this function, it will look like कि s यहाँ पे कहीं define ही नहीं हुआ है, outside the function, but x is actually defined as a global variable from inside a function. So this is how you define a global variable from inside a function. So this is about global variable and local variable. Okay, now few things are still left. Functions as object. इसमें मैं I'll write it down as to do. We'll cover it tomorrow. And lambda भी to do. ठीक है. So we will cover these two topics tomorrow, and then we will cover exception handling, classes and object, and we will wrap up Python level 2, Python level 3. And then probably if we can start Python level 4 tomorrow, we'll see. Okay, Python, no. So Python level 2, okay, it basically contains more topics, right? So it contains math. Okay, fine. We'll discuss tomorrow. For now, I think we have covered a lot of topics today. We have covered dictionaries, we have covered functions, inside functions, what are different types of arguments, what are local and global variables, and there are a lot of concepts involved in today's lecture. So I would request you guys to see the recordings of this video again and again to avoid any confusion. And as I said, right, you start using the mind maps for photogenic memory. And if you are revising the concept, just try to revise it using the mind maps. And that's how you can basically solidify any concept. Cool. So we are done with today's lecture. Then any doubts or any suggestions or any feedback or anything anyone wants to bring up? I mean, the lectures are clear. Sunny, is it fine for you? Okay. Nishant has given a heads up.
Yes, Abhinav, it's clear.
Cool. ठीक है.
Thank you.
चलो then. We'll meet tomorrow then. Thank you guys. Thanks for dialing in. Have a nice day ahead. Thank you.